Winter is coming.
The Fourth Turning. In 1997, Neil Howe and William Strauss published The Fourth Turning, which goes into detail on how history moves in 80-year cycles, and each one is divided into periods, defined by each generation, i.e., baby boomers, Generation X, and millennials, as they come into adulthood. Each of these phases hold one generation at a time, and each phase is associated with a specific societal role. Most importantly, in each human life cycle, society goes through four major turning events as each generation passes from one phase to the next. These four phases are high, awakening, unraveling, and crisis. Howe has tied these phases to season of the year. The awakening is the summer, while the crisis is the winter.
Winter is coming!
And the unraveling, the fall, the high, the spring, are the transition seasons. The end of the cycle, or the crisis phase,
It's cold outside.
is also known as the fourth turning, when the hero generation, entering young adulthood, faces off against the prophet generation that is entering into elderhood. In this case, it is the boomer generation that retires and the millennial generation that takes the wheel. It has been suggested that this phase only ends when the eldest boomers move beyond the age of political leadership and retire from public life, and Gen Xers begin to retire and move into a senior role. Millennials begin to move into midlife and take over society's institutions, and those younger than millennials are just beginning to join into society. Howe and Strauss predicted that the start of the fourth turning would have been 2005, plus or minus a few years. With this in mind, it appears the 2008 financial crisis was the trigger for the move into the current fourth turning. They predicted a climax coming around the year 2020, and the resolution, including a great devaluation, as the economy is entirely restructured for a new set of circumstances around the year 2026. If we think about the world that we live in today, there are similarities: a pandemic, racial and social unrest, and a contentious election that is now behind us, with the fourth turning that Howe and Strauss discussed. It is important to note that it is during this fourth turning when crises tend to be solved rather than pushed under the rug.
And winter is coming!
If the fourth turning does lead to a reset by 2026, we need to be prepared for disruption on a mass scale. Permanent changes in our culture and the markets are happening, causing uncertainty across the board. Some predict that we will see a transformation led by millennials to defund government-led initiatives such as Medicare, Social Security, and pensions, and grow the community side of the government. We will likely see accelerated growth of household sizes as generations combine due to the pandemic repercussions, and there may be a shift in what we were once willing to pay for and what we are now willing to do ourselves. Are you ready?
Winter's coming.
Mm-hmm.